Hey. Hey. Here we are. And we are now live. Not Memrick, but we are live. On a Fearless Friday. Don't mind me, I've got my grapes. My grapes are rules. Grapes rule, man. You know, today was an amazing day. Being a Fearless Friday, it really, truly was. And some of you don't even realize what goes on. But you know what? You made it through the day. You made it through the week. Some of you don't even realize that your voice helps somebody else make it through the week. Your voice is becoming a legacy. Your spirit, your discipline. You've been a blueprint for somebody else to make it through the week as well. The pure resilience that you showed going to a job that you hate, going to classes that you hate, continuously working out because, well, even though your muscles hurt, going to that doctor's appointment when you know you didn't want to go. Good job. What? Unoriginal or reproduced content. I created this content. All right, well, I appealed that notice. See, there are days that we try and work our butts off, but nobody ever realizes it. There are days that we try and talk about what's going on in our life, and people listen, and we don't realize that they're actually listening with so intent. We don't realize that they're the ones actually focusing entirely on what's going on, that they're so intensely interested in our lives to know how to overcome their problems. See, the moment you post on Facebook or on TikTok or whatever about your life and how you overcame it, people pay attention. Because those seasons where you were building in silence, but then afterwards you post it, people love that. They focus on it. They use it as a blueprint for themselves. They use it as an opportunity for them to try and overcome their problems. I mean, in all essence, that's how the human life, our human race has evolved over the years. Otherwise, we'd still be grunting in caves somewhere. Somebody took it upon themselves to write down how they overcame somebody. Somebody decided to try and realize that, hey, you know what? If you eat these little green things, you're going to get nourishment and you're going to live. If you don't eat these little green things, you're going to die. And likewise, somebody's trying to watch somebody else eat one of the little round red berries and watch them fall over and die. And so they put it on paperwork. And they wrote it down. They told the stories and they passed it on. People used it as a blueprint for their life. And that's how legacy is built. Because legacy doesn't start when people clap. Legacy doesn't start when people refuse to be quiet. Legacy starts when you open up your mouth and start talking about the things that are going on in your life. When you open up your mouth and start talking about how you overcame the problems, how you overcame the seasons, how you overcame the bankruptcies or the job loss or the breakup or the disease that almost killed you. Rapes. And what happens is those stories are repeated. They're passed on. And that repetition builds recognition. Because what happens is, as I just said, that repetition builds recognition. Because somebody says, oh, hey, you know what? Thomas Edison tried over 10,000 times to create the light bulb. Wow, cool. He's noted for his consistency. But it's also built his credibility up. Nelson and Mandela sat in jail for so long. His courage to stop apartheid built his identity. Joan of Arc, her courage built her identity. See, what happens is we try to hear about the stories of the great people in the past that have done things over and over and over again to overcome their challenges, to become great. We hear the stories. They don't realize that they're becoming somebody great at that point. They just think they're solving a problem. And they're happy to live life. And that could be you right now. You could be solving a problem in your little life, but 100 years from now, somebody could be talking about you. 100 years from now, somebody could be talking about you, how you overcame your fear of talking, your fear of driving, your fear of going back to school, your fear of trying to fall in love with somebody again. Because you know what? Your voice becomes stronger because you keep showing up. Especially when it's easier to disappear. You know, a buddy of mine and I were talking earlier today about how easy it is to turn into an ostrich. All right, you know what I'm talking about, an ostrich. You know, when life throws you curveballs, and I'll be honest, life's thrown me some really good curveballs lately. I'm not going to talk about them, but you know what? Mm, mm, mm. We've got curveballs that are really out there. We're like flaming spiked curveballs are thrown at me right now, and life's got them. Life's throwing them at me. But right now, the other cool thing is I think life might have thrown me a nice, soft, cushy curveball to see how I react. Because you know what? As I said, your voice becomes stronger when you keep showing up. But if you try and take those those spiky flaming curveballs that life throws at you, and you turn into an ostrich. You take your head and shove it in the ground somewhere and hide from all the challenges coming around you. Nothing happens. You just basically hide. And sometimes those curveballs will hit you and kill you. And so you really don't. I mean, you stick your head in the ground, you can't even dodge a curveball. So you have to try and keep your head above ground. You have to keep your head focused on what you're doing and where you're going and what you're planning on doing, and keep your dreams going. Because you know what? My goals are speaking on stages. My goals are posting daily. My goal is to lead Wow Wednesday. My goal is to try and expand Wow University. My goal is showing up for my kids. My goal is helping as many people as I can. And, well, you know what? With that in mind, I have to show up for my mission. And you have a mission. You've got goals. You've got dreams. Your voice isn't showing up just by accident. It has to grow. You have to have that obedience to pull that purpose out and focus on it. Because, what message is hiding inside of you that you whisper? What truths are you sticking in the ground, hiding from? Because you're too scared to face them. Now, what would happen if you faced them? What would happen if you stopped hiding from them and started standing up to them? What would happen if one of those things was a gift that you got? A talent that only you have, that God gave you. And instead of hiding it in the dirt, you decided to use it to help other people. You got to give it back. Because you know what? Legacy isn't fame, it's impact. Fame is attention. The attention whores. Oh, I'm going to do this. It's those influencers that walk around with their phones out, walking up, give somebody a sandwich so they can take a video of them handing a sandwich out. So they can get credit for handing a sandwich to a homeless person. Fame is wanting the attention of Tron and giving $1 to the homeless person. Fame is wanting to give attention to Tron and promoting a nonprofit organization because it makes you feel better. Where legacy, that's transformation. You don't promote legacy. Legacy promotes you. See, fame is loud. Fame is out there. It wants to try to say, look at me. Here I am. Look at me. Look at me trying to do this for these people. Look at me doing this. Look at me trying and feeding the poor. Look at me doing this. Look at me doing that. Blah, 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 blah. That's fame. Legacy. Legacy is when you try to do something in silence. Nobody even knows until they find out and they see that you were the one doing it. Legacy is putting those golden coins in the Salvation Army bucket all those years in a row without nobody ever knowing who did it. Because you felt that somebody out there could have used those coins better. Legacy is putting your name in the Secret Santa for the Toys for Tots campaign. Legacy is putting an anonymous donation into into any sort of nonprofit organization not expecting a recognition for it, not expecting anybody to do anything for you, clap for you, or anything like this, but expecting somebody to become stronger because of you. See, legacy becomes useful without the voice. Fame needs the voice. Fame needs to feed its ego. Legacy does things and lets people talk about them. Now, so I have to ask, what's one message that would become something positive for you? Maybe a conversation. Maybe a decision or a breakthrough. Maybe it's a new identity or a new standard, or maybe even a new life. See, people repeat what moved them. People focus on what moved them. People share what changes them. And that's why I say a legacy is such a tremendous thing, because when you do something for somebody else, it changes them. Because you're not just someone with a voice, you're someone with a calling. Because you're a leader. Like it or not, you're an influencer. And you can be a cycle breaker. You can break the generational curses that are out there. Maybe perhaps your kids can try and be the first ones to graduate from high school, or maybe first ones to come from college, or first ones from med school. But you're the leader. You can be the ones to push them towards it. You could influence them. You can influence other people to do better in their life. You're already doing it by the actions you do at work, by the things that you say at work. I've said this a couple times before. Have you ever noticed when you start hanging out with new people at a new job, you start using the words they use because they have an influence on you? Or maybe they start using the words you use and they start having an influence. You start having an influence on them. You start creating a cycle breaking aspect by basically being who you are, by having your own standards, setting them, letting people realize that you're not going to bend in the wind like a tree. Yes, Sunshine.
Why wasn't Obet banned?
Ask him, not me.
I did.
Okay, well, I'm not involved in it. I think it's stupid what happened. But I'm in the middle of my live and I'm not going to talk about it right now. So, standard setters. What? What are you doing? What are you doing? Please.
Two kitties?
Mm-hmm.
Two kitties?
Check the milk. See, standard setters, standard settings. When you set standards for yourself, people notice. You notice. You feel better about yourself because of the fact that you're doing something that other people aren't doing. Last night I talked about that one employee that I had to fire because he was work impaired. I'm the evil capitalist firing the work impaired. because he couldn't stack boxes with excellence. They're just throwing them all over the place. So somebody out there got boxes of cracked chips. I had to fire him. If you're not going to stack boxes with excellence, how do I know you're going to answer my phone calls with excellence? You got to have standards. And if you don't have a standard in how you're going to stack boxes, where do your standards start? And that's how you influence people, by setting standards for yourself. See, one of the reasons why my communications business turned into a nationwide business is because of the fact that I had standards. We didn't put holes in tiles. We tried filling things in for clients to use what they wanted and not necessarily what I wanted. I tried working with the client as opposed to just selling them a system, saying, here, have a system. No, I actually worked with what they needed and actually told them outright that, hey, you don't need to spend this much money. I did that with my computer store. You don't need to spend this much money. I mean, if you want to spend it, I'll take your money, but you don't need it. I mean, you don't need to spend that money. Spend it on the kids, spend it on family. Take yourself and go on a trip. If all you're going to do is surf the internet, you don't need to spend $5,000 on a computer. And so what happened is I built up a reputation of having standards, of being an honest person about stuff like that. And that's what's built a legacy for me. That's how I ended up building a client base that has multi-million-dollar clients paying me to install cameras everywhere from Madison, Wisconsin, all the way down to South Carolina. And so you got to focus on that legacy that you build for yourself. Because you know what? When you start speaking out loud about the things that matter to you, your voice matters. Your story matters. Your message matters. You don't have to be a speaker to try and have a message. Your message is visible to anybody around you, from your kids to your coworkers, to fellow students. Anybody that's around you sees them. Your neighbors, they all hear. They all know. What's up, bud?
Hi.
Hi. My son. Hi, son. All right, get out. Anyways, so your story has power. And you don't have to be a speaker in order to try and show it, because you're already doing it on a daily basis. You already do it during the meetings at work. You're already doing it during that club meeting, that Boy Scout meeting, the Girl Scout meetings. You're already doing it at church. You're already doing it in class. People see how you act. People see how you talk. People see how you react to challenges that happen, and they follow you because your message is going to outlive that moment. And the truth is, most people don't stay quiet because they lack talent. They stay quiet because of fear. Yeah. Fear is a great thing. And I've always liked the phrase of face everything and rise. But you know what? Even I get scared at times. I mean, I'll be honest, there are quite a few things I'm still scared of. Now, some people are scared of lobsters. Some people are scared of the dark. Some people are scared of falling. I happen to be scared of falling on lobsters in the dark. Bad joke, I know. But you know what? A lot of people are scared of judgment. Me. I don't like working outside around the house. If you're into a store. Because I don't like people staring at me, judging me on whether I'm going to fix this with my house or fix that with my house or why am I cutting my lawn this way and not that way or whatever. I actually hate cutting my lawn because I look at it as God put the lawn there. Let God take care of the lawn. It's growing grass. Let it grow. It provides safe haven to bunny rabbits and butterflies and all sorts of other lovely little creatures, including mosquitoes. But, hey. But people are afraid of judgment. What is he doing? Another reason people stay quiet is because they're afraid of rejection. Afraid to ask that girl out because of the fact that what if she says no? Afraid to ask for that promotion because what if they say no? Afraid to try and ask about taking extra classes because what if they say no? You know? But what happens if they say yes? Afraid of putting a bid in on a speaking job because of the fact that what if they say no? But what if they say yes? See, we can what if things all we want. We just have to change our mindset from the negative to the positive. Another thing people are afraid of is imperfection. I grew up with in the old school days. If you don't know how to do it, don't do it. I kid you not. And so therefore, if I didn't know how to do something, eh, it would just sit there. I wouldn't try. It wasn't until I got older when I realized that if I try and sat there waiting for somebody else to fix it, no, it's never going to get fixed. And so therefore, I realized that imperfect action is better than no action at all. Because in all essence, if if it's to be, it's up to me. And so we sit and wait for perfection, and here we sit. Sort of like those memes that are out there where they show a skeleton sitting on a park bench, waiting for the perfect man or waiting for the perfect woman. Nobody's ever perfect. Even Jesus Christ wasn't perfect. But you know what? The point is, he knew how to try and correct himself. He knew how to accept things and ask for forgiveness from his Father. So we waiting for the perfect whatever is never going to happen. Perfection, there is no such thing as perfection. The only time there is perfection is when you try and have done it so many imperfect times that it's gotten so easy that you've done it in the perfect vision of what you believe it is. And so we stay quiet because, well, we're afraid of the imperfection. We're afraid of doing something wrong. We're afraid of somebody looking at us saying, "Oh man, you're an idiot because you did that wrong." I mean, don't take this the wrong way. We grew up. I mean, I grew up in a 70s. So if we're playing basketball, we try and throw a basketball at the hoop, and we hit the hoop, and it bounces off and hits us in the head. We're gonna get hey, you're an idiot. We're gonna get jokes made fun of, the whole 9 yards. And so it's just better to not try than get made fun of, right? That's how it was. But you know what? If we never try, we'll never get it in the hoop. A lot of people talk about how Michael Jordan is one of the best basketball players out there in the world. But you know what? Yeah, he's got a lot of baskets that he made. But you know what? Something they don't keep track of? How many times he took a shot at the basket and missed. And if you ask him on one of the interviews that I was watching, he says that, you know what? For every basket he's got in, he's probably missed 1,000 times. That he should get the most missed award as well, too. Because it takes practice. Imperfect action is better than no action at all. Because imperfect action makes you ready. And people stay quiet because they feel like they're not ready. They feel like they're not enough. Now, I suffer from something called imposter syndrome. All right. Even my own coaches have said you need to get over that because, well, hey, 50 something years old, right? I've had a security company, I've had pizza places, I've had several internet companies, I've had a computer store, I've got a nationwide camera service. I've had businesses that have succeeded, I've had businesses that haven't succeeded. I've made over $10 million a couple times over my lifetime. Yeah, I've been a success and I've been a failure. And so that because of the failures, I look at myself and say, you know what, I'm not good being a coach. But then I'm like, wait a minute here. How many people can say that they made $1 million in a year? How many people can say that they made $10 million in a couple of years? How many people can say that they've had successful businesses? How many people can say that they've actually sold their business for a profit? How many people can say that they actually sold their business and bought their dream property that they've worked so hard for since they were a kid? You know, and I'm not saying that because I'm saying it. I'm saying it because that's what my coaches told me to say. They're the ones that said, you know what, Obet, you need to just overcome your imposter syndrome because you are a winner because you have done this. Not many people out there have made $1 million a year. Not many people out there have made $10 million in their lifetime. Not many people out there have had the dreamland that they've wanted. Not many people out there can say that they own a nationwide camera service company. But yet I still feel at times that I'm not enough. There are times I still feel as though I'm not ready. So I'm with you. But you know what? That fear is loud. I mean, I hear it all the time. It's like that squeal in your ear that just doesn't go away. But the one thing in common between you and I is our purpose is louder. God gave us a dream and we're not lazy. Because when your voice becomes legacy, you no longer speak for yourself. You're speaking for the people who can't speak yet. You're speaking for the people who are still healing. You're speaking to the people that are hiding with their heads in the ground because they're afraid of judgment. They're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of not being ready. They're afraid of imperfection. They're afraid of not being enough. And your voice can help them overcome those fears. Because there will be a day when someone says, because of something you said, I didn't quit. There will be a day that someone will say, that somebody will post online because you believed I could believe again. There will be a day when somebody will say, because I heard your voice, I found mine. And that is legacy. Because tonight, you're going to step into a new level of courage. Tonight, you're going to stop shrinking. Tonight, you stop whispering. Tonight, you speak like someone whose voice is already building tomorrow's legacy. Because you've withstood more than people know. You've owned more than people seen. It's time to win in a way that nobody can ignore. It's time to step up and make your next move your loudest one yet. I believe in you. You need to believe in you because your